It's a pleasure to be back again this year and to share my experiences with you. Today, I would actually want to make a presentation that might inspire everyone who doesn't use GIS at the moment to at least look at the possibilities of using GIS in your work. The focus of my presentation today is going to look at GIS for everyone, and then how everyone can use GIS. Now, the understanding is that a lot of people don't actually know what GIS is and then the capabilities of GIS in their works. So today, I actually look forward to inspiring everyone, let you see the power of GIS and then an ecosystem that can support you to use the tools and the systems for your work and then come up with great solutions and innovation. Now, the focus of this presentation is going to look at what GIS is, an evolution of GIS over the period, what you can use GIS for, and then how everyone can apply and use GIS in their works. So before we get started, the very first time I heard the term GIS, we're actually in a class. And then when they asked what GIS is, somebody actually said Ghana Information Service, which wasn't wrong, it was actually true. But in this particular case, we're looking at GIS as a system or tool that is used to capture spatial information. You actually allow to use that tool to collect information, process the information, come out with relevant results and analysis, and then also visualize your data in such a way that you wouldn't get under normal data processing. Now, to highlight that, GIS actually uses maps to collect information, but it doesn't just collect coordinates. It actually collects information related to that particular coordinate. So it focuses on what is happening, where it is happening, why it is happening, and if there are any connections within or between those attributes, occurrences, or events. Now, while a lot of people might be comfortable working with data in a table like this, there are actually a lot of insights that you miss when you look at data just in the table without any visual representation. Now, everybody goes like, well, statistics is good. We are able to calculate the numbers. We're able to do computations. But the truth is sometimes statistics and a normal visualization of data in a table like this doesn't actually provide you with the insights you need. And as Jay Bear said, we are surrounded by data, but we are starved for insights. Now, just to highlight the power of GIS to you and then how it presents data, I wanted to have a quick history of the first instance of GIS. And this happened in London. That was in the year of 1854, when an epidemiologist used GIS to actually discover the root causes of cholera. That's during the cholera outbreak. Now, during that period, there was a belief that cholera was airborne, and then people were scared of going out or even breathing. But the epidemiologist by the name of John Snow, John Snow, actually found a way to deduce what the root cause of cholera was. So what he did was he found a map of the area where the cholera cases were predominant. Then he mapped out where the deaths were occurring. So on the screen, what you see with the red dots were the houses where the deaths were occurring. Then he also mapped out the existing water sources. That's the wells and the standpipes where they used to access water. And in this particular case, he realized that there were 11 water sources within the area with predominant cases. But when he visualized his data, he realized that at a workhouse where we had 535 people, there were only 6 deaths, which was odd because there were a lot of deaths during that particular period. And he also realized that in a brewery where they had 70 workers, only 0 people within that particular area had died. So what he later realized was that within the workhouse, those individuals that stayed within that area had their own water source. And then within those who went to the brewery, they were actually giving water and supplements, and they were giving beer for supplements and water. But please, I'm not trying to encourage anyone to go drinking beer. So he realized that the root cause of cholera was actually from the water. And then on the broad street, where you had that borehole was the case 0, or where the predominant cases was. Now, under normal circumstances, if you present this particular data as a table or try to show it with graphs, it doesn't actually give you insights as to where.
Hello, Valentine. Please, can you hear me? It seems you've gone offline. Okay. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please. We can hear you now. Do you mind sharing your screen or sharing your presentation?
It's off. Sure.
Yes,
Let
please.
me do that again.
Okay. That's amazing. Thank you so much.
I don't know what last you heard, but I'll continue from here.
No
so
problem.
We're just looking at common instances of the use of GIS, and then here it's one common use that everyone has probably experienced in transportation. We also have instances of the use of GIS in urban planning and service delivery. And here it's mostly used by planners, NGOs, and then other institutions that are looking for development within space and how they can find suitable location or spaces to provide some of their innovations, and then how they can distribute resources properly for access within communities. And in most recent cases, we've seen the power of GIS in tracking galamsey. And what you actually see here is the Pra River, and then the extent of damage to the water, and then cases of areas where mining is actually taking place. So if you look at the instance from 1854, that was the first instance where we had actually seen an experience of GIS. But the term GIS wasn't coined until 1960. And in 1982, Esri actually released the first ActInfo version for use. And then in 1996, we actually had an Open GIS Consortium formed to promote GIS and then data interoperability. Now, what we're going to look at is the ecosystem that allows you to undertake all your geoinformation projects. That's the Esri online system. Now, with the Esri product, you actually have access to tools that allow you to go on field for data collection, to process your data, to analyze your data, and then to present your data for public use or even for individual use. Now, the focus of this presentation is going to be on data collection, data processing and visualization, and then data presentation. I have interacted with a lot of people from various fields this year, and then it's going to be very difficult for us to look at data analysis because based on your background, the type of analysis you want to undertake is quite different. So we'll just focus on this three, and then probably next year or in another period, we can actually look at data processing in details. So let's actually get into it and get started to have some practical experience of what's going to happen. Now, here I'm already in my Esri platform. I don't know if my screen is visible, but I will need a confirmation.
Your screen is visible now, yes.
All right, great. Yeah. So with the Esri platform, it has a lot of tools that allows you to do a lot of work. And here we have a lot of options for creating web platforms, for creating tools for your work, for processing and analyzing data. But one of the tools I actually want to introduce you to is the Survey123, which is a field data collection tool. This tool actually allows you to create your own data collection form for geospatial data, carrying this form to the field, collecting your data on the field, and also allowing you to visualize and process your data within the same environment. We have different tools, and in most cases, we have people going to the field with GPS's device. But usually when they come back, you have to process that, then put that into your software. But within this domain, you can actually create your own survey from scratch, or we also have existing templates that you can work with. And once you have that in place, you're actually able to then go to the field with this, collect information, and it's synchronized. And then institutions and organizations can set this up to even monitor activities on the field whilst they are ongoing. Now, one of the special elements in using the Survey123 is that you're able to integrate a lot of spatial components into this. I know a lot of you have used Google Forms, a lot of you have used the Microsoft Forms. It's quite similar, but different. So here you are allowed to add data. You can add a map, and if you click on map, it actually places a map for you, and then you're able to set parameters for a question around it. So here for a question or the label, I can just add, kindly add your location to it as the question, so that anyone who is using the form actually understands that you're supposed to provide your location into this. So kindly add your location. And just like any form that you work with the Google and the rest, you're able to add extra information. So here with the map, you're able to specify whether you want to just pick points, you want to pick lines, or whether you want to actually demarcate an entire area. And recently, I'm aware that Cocoa Board is using an approach like this to collect information from farmers on the field. Some institutions and NGOs in the North too have also started integrating spatial science into collecting information for better understanding and visualization of occurrences in the field, and then how they can directly access those places using visualization and then mapping. So here you can set your map extent and everything you need, and then you can set that for people to add extra. So now you can also add your single base questions. You can add Likert scales, and a Likert scale is just something that allows you to choose within a range. So if I want to ask your level or skill in GIS, I can add this there, and then I can actually specify which level this is. Now, all this information you're collecting can actually be exported into an Excel sheet. But the interesting thing is, with the data you've also collected, you're able to visualize that within a map for individuals who are looking at it to actually see the distribution or understanding of what you've collected from the field. In most cases, when you look at simple Excel fields, it's very difficult for you to understand where exactly what is happening. Now, I want to show you this. This is an Excel sheet of health facilities in Ghana. Now, within this particular list, there are 2,800 or over 2,800 health facilities within the country. Now, the question is, as an institution or someone who is ready to provide solutions or interventions to a particular district or health facility, how exactly do I identify the location of these health facilities? With this particular data, it's very helpful for me to see, okay, we have this number of health facilities, we have the names, they're within this particular count. But let's assume that I have never been to Nkwanta North or Nkwanta South, and I actually want to go there. Well, I can go to the district assemblies and then have a discussion with them. But if they gave me the data and I had to come back and analyze it, how exactly do I understand the relationship between the location of the health facility and then the people? And then in most instances, you always want to identify how things happen in space and then why they happen as such. Now, what we're going to look at is presenting the same data in a format that allows other people to also interact and then work with it. So we are going to create a basic map. In this particular case, we don't have any data to collect with this form. So we're just going to look at some existing data. So now I'm going to open the contents of my browser. I already took the liberty of uploading the data into the browser. So we're going to look at the contents of it and then how we can actually use that same information to create a web map that we can share with other people to interact with the data that we have. So if you open this on the map, you're already going to see the location and the distribution of those health facilities in space. And then how they are distributed will also give you more insight as to how you go about providing solutions. This is the insight that you lack when you work with just data in tables and not having them spatially distributed or spatially presented. Now, the tool that we are going to look at is the ArcGIS Online Map Viewer tool that allows you to actually visualize your data, process your data, and then also perform some analysis on the data. And all this is online and in one space. Notice when we started, I haven't actually moved to another software. I'm still working with the same area. So here is the same data that was presented in the Excel sheet, but it's actually presented in a map. And then it's visualized in different colors for me to understand what type of health facilities these are. I've already programmed this to show me with this particular colors. But then again, you can always symbolize your data or your information with different colors for better understanding. And when you zoom in or click on any of those of that information, you will actually get the details of it as we'll see in the Excel file. So I can still see which region this is, which district, the town, and then the other information as was presented in the Excel sheet. But now what we want to do is we actually want to use this data to create a web map, which we can share with people. It's not stable. Hello? Hello?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
All right, great. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this data here to create a web map. Okay, so with the data that you have collected, if you're using the form, we have just done this straightforward, but here it was brought in from the Excel sheet and then placed here. Now within the same domain, I can click on create map, and then it's going to give me different options to create maps. Now, one beautiful thing is the Esri Online package has already got existing templates that you can use for your map designs or for your map works. Now here it's going to ask you basic questions like, what do you actually want to prepare the app for? Is it to showcase the map and essential tools? Is it to allow viewers to interact with your data? Is it to provide public information, or is it to display a variety of features? And these already come with templates that you can already pick and then use. So once you have data and you understand what you want to do with that data, then it makes it very easy for you to actually proceed with creating the app that you want to. But what I actually want to do is I want to create a unique system which allows us to actually visualize and then interact with the data. And then under normal circumstances, this takes you between 5 to 10 minutes in creating an app and then sharing it with individuals. So here I'm going to click on create app, and I'm going to use the web app builder to create the app. And they are going to ask me to specify some details, and this is just going to be the Geo-User Conference. So Geo-User Conference. They ask for some tags. I'll add a tag that helps or makes it easy for people to identify the maps if they want to know what the map is all about. A summary and then a folder to save it in. So I'm just going to proceed and click OK. Now it's going to send me to a platform and then provide me with templates that are going to allow me to create a simple map for myself using the data that I already uploaded in the system. And this also works just like if you collected the data using the mobile app field, you could just proceed to use that same data to present or create the platform that you want. Now, in the case of the COVID-19 dashboard that was displayed, this was the theme at the left that was used in the preparation of that particular map. And then you are allowed to fill in the details. But what I want to do is create a sample map with sample widgets, and I can set the colors. So this is the template I want to use. Then under the map section, I'm going to choose my map or my data, which is the Ghana Health Facility maps that we uploaded from the Excel sheet. Now, it's going to load that data, and then they're going to allow me to add functionalities to this particular map. So with the functionalities, you're able to add on stuff that you want your app to be able to do. So in this particular case, I want my app to be able to show different satellite images so that people can understand where the data actually lies. And here I'm going to choose the base map gallery and click on OK. And it's just going to ask me to perform or add some little settings to it. And these are the extra images that are going to be added to the map. Now, if you take the map that is currently displayed, you can't actually tell which building or where it is located in space. And for those who don't know how to read maps, they prefer to see their data visually. So with the base maps, what it allows you to do is it allows you to change the background of your map into an image, which gives you a proper visual understanding of where these are. So if I zoom in more closely, I'm not just seeing bare space, but I'm actually able to identify each building as they are arranged in space for simple identification of where this health facility is actually located. And I think this is more comprehensive or comprehensible for people who don't actually know how to read maps. Once you see something like this, you're able to tell the road networks, and then you're able to tell where the buildings are, and then using your data to easily identify the location of where these things are. So I'm going to proceed and then add extra. I want my map or my app to be able to give me directions. So I'm going to add directions, and I'm going to specify that the directions should be based on my data, so that someone can actually click on my data and say, you know what, I want you to give me directions to this particular data. And as you do this, all this information is not just going to be kept on your desktop or going to be on the printed map, but it's going to be a web version software that allows you to actually interact with the data that has been created. So I also want to add a legend so that people who are using the data can understand what the data is about. And I'm going to make sure that it's all about the data that I am presenting here. So when I click on this, on the legend icon that has been added, I'm able to see the health facilities and the data that has been loaded on the map. So just in the interest of time, I'm going to add widgets to this tool. Then I'm going to share it with you for you to interact with it to see how it actually works. And because I'm actually making a presentation and I have to explain this stuff, it's actually taking me quite a while. But if I didn't have to speak, then this would have been finished in 5 minutes at least. And that is all because the GIS platform allows you to create this whilst giving you templates to use to present your data and create platforms that make it easy for people to interact with this particular data. Now, whilst I have finished providing all the widgets, I am able to preview what I have created on different devices to make sure that it works the way I want it to be. So I can actually check how it is going to look like if I have it on a tablet, or even if I have it on a Samsung Galaxy or an iPhone or an iPad. And once you're satisfied with everything, you're able to then share this map with individuals online. You can also integrate this with your websites, your web platforms. You can share it with your partners. You can share it with institutions. You can also share it with individuals who you are working with for them to actually interact with the data that has been created. So now that I am done with creating this simple web map, I'm going to save it. And you always have to save your work just in case light goes off so that you still have it. I'm going to save it and I'm going to launch the app. So once you launch the app, it means that you are allowed to then share this app with other people. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy the link for the app that we have created, and I'm going to drop it in the chat. And then each and every one of you can actually go through it and then see what we have created. It's actually easy to do. It's not complicated. Under 5 minutes, you're able to create your map, you're able to visualize your map, and you're actually able to create a tool that allows you to go to the field and then collect data. So this is the experience I want to share with you. There are actually instances for a lot of institutions to use GIS in their works. And then this data or approach to analyzing data gives you insights that you wouldn't normally see if you were just working with it on an Excel or in a cell format. Whilst it's good to also have it in a cell format, this creates a database and an ecosystem where you can actually share the work you're doing with other people for insights, for feedback, and then for proper understanding of the data that you have collected. I'll still be present in the meetings, so if anyone has a question to ask, kindly feel free to drop it in the chat or during the questions session and actually put the question there and I'll respond to it. But then again, thank you for your attention and for your participation in this GIZ Ghana conference, and it's glad to be here again. Have a nice day. Thanks.